Part 10. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 92. Yuqianbing's remnant soul returned to the Earth Spirit World branch. Soon, the immortal guarding the mountain gate sent the news back to the branch, which instantly shocked the branch. In the branch's ancient palace, many elders of the branch and the helmsman soon gathered. A middle-aged man in a purple robe sat at the top. He had a green beard and his whole person was filled with an unfathomable aura. On both sides, there were 20 elders with powerful auras. What happened? Just before that, the soul lamps of all the troops brought by Yu Qianbing were extinguished. Yu Qianbing returned with only one remaining soul. Did they meet some invincible character? Everyone was talking about it. Let Yu Qianbing come in. The middle-aged man above spoke calmly. A remnant soul floated in immediately. The middle-aged man said, "Say." Yu Qianbing's voice was a little weak, and his words were full of panic, and he said, "Reporting to the helmsman, I led people to the Xiantian realm. There, I met an existence that surpassed the Xiantian. In order to deal with him, I investigated his identity." He then told the results of the investigation in Xuanhuan city and the story of the 10 mysterious immortals who were killed with a borrowed knife. What? The 10 great immortals from the immortal realm came across the border and were killed by a song? How is this possible? Yu Qianbing and others are responsible for the lower realm of Xuanzi level. The highest existence is Xianxian. How can there be such a person? Could there be a celestial immortal hiding there? But it is impossible for a celestial immortal level powerhouse to easily kill the top 10 mysterious immortals. In the main hall, many elders were shocked. You must know that even if it is only the most fringe force in the immortal realm, it should have an absolute advantage over the Xianward world. However, the lower realm of the 10 mysterious immortals was actually destroyed. Unimaginable. Yu Qianbing had already continued, "We wanted to take the opportunity to take away the world tree and turn Xiantian realm into a wasteland. However, an inexplicable energy smashed the immortal swallowing jar, and we were directly injured. They were all blown up, and except for me who survived by relying on the death talisman given by the helmsman, the others were completely dead." Hearing this, everyone gasped. The immortal swallowing jar can contain the world tree, which surpasses the mysterious immortal level, but it was shattered by an inexplicable energy machine. This is incredible. What is hidden in that small Xiantian realm? Even a heavenly immortal level being cannot destroy the immortal swallowing jar. Doesn't this mean that there is a high possibility that there is a golden immortal hiding there? Everyone was shocked and confused. This news surprised them. The middle-aged man at the head also frowned at this moment. Golden fairy? No, he himself is a golden immortal, but he knows very well that the immortal swallowing jar is an imitation of a terrifying sacred weapon in the sect, and he cannot destroy it. Xiantian realm. He murmured, and suddenly a light flashed in his eyes, and he said, "Is this Xiantian realm related to the legendary realm?" Hearing this, everyone looked at it. "Captain, are you talking about the legend of the 4 heavens?" An elder was surprised and uncertain. The helmsman nodded and said, "According to old legends, endless years ago, among countless lower realms, there were 4 heavenly realms that were extremely powerful, and their strength could almost challenge the fairy realm. In the first heaven, it is said that an immortal king was born. But, later, the immortal realm took action against the 4 major heavens. 3 of the major heavens surrendered to the immortal realm and became vassals of the immortal realm. However, because the first heaven realm refused to surrender, it was directly blasted to pieces by the immortal realm and turned into a countless small worlds. It is said that even the immortal king was killed in that battle, and his body exploded with the first heaven." Hearing this, an elder spoke in confusion, "But what does this have to do with the Xiantian realm?" The helmsman said, "Besides this, there is another secret. After the first heaven was shattered, tens of thousands of small worlds were formed. These small worlds differ in size and personality, and have different strengths. However, it is said that in order to remember the glory of the first heaven, the names of those small worlds will all have the word heaven in them. In short, Xian represents the current personality, and heaven comes from past history. The helmsman finished simply. In an instant, everyone in the field looked stern. Millions of lower realms also have levels. The world is dark and yellow. There are countless lower realms with yellow characters, accounting for the largest number. The Xuanzi world is second, but there are still many. The Daizu realm is the most powerful part of the lower world. In the Daizu realm, immortals can be born. And there are only 4 heavens throughout the ages. Among them, the most glorious first heaven realm was destroyed by the immortal realm. So, this Xiantian realm is most likely a part of the first heaven realm. If that's the case, then it makes sense. The first heaven realm cannot be viewed from an ordinary perspective. The land where the immortal king was once born. I didn't expect that we actually met. Many elders spoke one after another, very solemnly. As long as it is involved with the first heaven, it will definitely not be simple. The helmsman said, of course, I can't be sure yet. After all, I only thought of it from the name of this lower realm, I still need to confirm it. He glanced at an old man and said, Elder Sandor, you have the law of space, and no one can keep you. How about you take a walk and explore it? Sandor stood up, nodded immediately and said, respect the command of the helmsman. I'll leave immediately. At the same time. Northern Immortal Territory. Borderland. In Xuanhuan City, Tianhuan sect. All the elders in the sect gathered in the main hall. In the main hall, the elder with hair more than 10 meters long sitting cross-legged, his breath was very weak at the moment. He was hit hard. Sect Master, it's too scary, what's hidden in the lower realm is probably not as simple as Ming Tianbei. Elder Li Luo spoke seriously. Many elders behind him were even more uneasy. The 10 profound immortals sent this time are all sect elders. As a result, no one is left, and they are all destroyed. Even the terrifying sound of the piano actually came through the boundary wall, causing a terrifying blood disaster in the Tianhuan sect. In the end, it was Mo Qi, the leader of the seclusion, who took action himself and blocked it. However, the old sect leader was seriously injured as a result. Mo Qi, the leader of the Tianhuan sect, opened his old eyes at this moment and said, that piece of music can hardly be suppressed by 2 Xianxian, even the heavenly immortal. Perhaps we should be lucky that the person playing the piano is in the lower realm, and his strength is limited. Otherwise, our Tianhuan sect, and even Xuanhuan city, may be in catastrophe. Hearing this, everyone had complicated expressions. What kind of existence is hidden in the Xiantian realm? Sect Master, what should we do now? The sect's strength has been greatly damaged, and other forces in Xuanhuan city will probably know about it soon. When the time comes, we will be in a difficult position in Saint Cloud City. The fairyland is equally cruel. The weak eat the strong. The Tianhuan sect is one of the 5 major forces in Saint Cloud City. If they decline, the other 4 major forces will definitely pounce on them and eat up the Tianhuan sect. Mo Qi was silent, and after a long time, he suddenly said, let the news out, just say that there is news about the Holy Sound Immortal Lord breaking the formation song in the Xiantian realm. Hearing this, all the elders were shocked. Sect Master, do you mean that the people from the lower world are actually the descendants of the Holy Sound Immortal Lord? The Holy Sound Immortal Lord, one of the most outstanding powerful men in the Northern Immortal Realm, entered the Immortal Lord's way with music, but disappeared when he became the Immortal King. Li Luo even murmured, if there is really news about his Immortal Lord breaking the formation song, I'm afraid the entire Northern Immortal Territory will go crazy. Sect Master Mochi was silent for a moment and sighed. After much thought, I came up with the rumored Immortal Lord's formation-breaking song. I really can't think of any piano music that can be so powerful. I'm afraid there really is a descendant of the holy sound immortal hidden in the lower realm. His old eyes were filled with complexity. This was a great opportunity, but it could also be a catastrophe. However, Tianhuan sect is no longer qualified to participate. Li Luo was also thinking in his eyes, and suddenly said, I understand what the sect master means. Once this news comes out, the other four major forces in Zhenjiang city will inevitably be unable to restrain themselves and search for him in the lower world. And if they go down to the lower realm, both sides will definitely have to fight. Our Tianhuan sect can just benefit from it and take the opportunity to recuperate. The four major sects will probably be hurt by this, and they will no longer be able to take advantage of us. When he said this, all the elders in the scene suddenly realized. Let's do it immediately. Not long after, a piece of news spread out in Zhenjiang city. The Tianhuan sect discovered the news about the inheritance of the Holy Sound Immortal Lord, and fought across the lower realms, but was severely injured by a piece of music. As soon as the news came out, all major forces in the entire Zhenjiang city were shocked. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 93. Xiantian Realm. In recent times, everything is booming. The blood of the 10 great immortals nourished this land. In the air, spiritual energy surged, almost giving birth to the spirit of a fairy. The strength of all major powerful sects has skyrocketed. Especially in the southern region. I am waiting and have become an immortal. Taiyan Holy Land, Holy Lord Lingqiao and Holy Lord Yuan Yang are all very excited. After being baptized by the blood of the 10 great immortals, they finally took a step further. I finally got a glimpse of the immortal way. In the near future, I may become an immortal. Holy Master Kongming murmured. After retreating, his whole temperament became more extraordinary. And at this moment, Southern Territory, in a small mountain village. During this time, life was very pleasant. Li Fan teaches Xian Ning to read every day, or teaches his disciples to work. The growth rate of Nanfan and Xiling greatly inspired Lu Rang and others. 1. One is the sword, everything, heaven, earth and all things. Duguyuking is in a mysterious realm, he is enlightening. His mind was filled with Li Fan's sword that opens the sky that day. That kind of invincible momentum that makes me invincible. The kind of demeanor that dominates the world and can open the sky with one sword. He suddenly closed his eyes. At this moment, there is nothing to worry about. The tip of the pen touched the rice paper. The sharp edge of the pen is like a sword full of energy, very sharp. At this moment, his breath suddenly changed. Become an immortal. When the pen stopped, he was completely surprised. He has understood the immortal sword. Ha ha, ha ha ha. He was overjoyed. He really wanted to shout, I have become an immortal. But, at this moment, in the vegetable field on the other side, there was a sudden roar. He looked sideways and saw that in Lu Rang's hand, a hoe of Tao had actually condensed. Lu Rang's body was extremely strong. That's the breath of immortality. Lu Rang also made a breakthrough. Lu Rang was overjoyed immediately and walked towards Long Zixuan, saying, Ha ha, Zixuan, I have become an immortal, what about you? He reached out and wanted to pat Long Zixuan on the shoulder. But the next moment, the dragon soul appeared on Long Zixuan's body, and the extremely domineering dragon energy turned into a force, which actually shocked Lu Rang, who had become an immortal, and flew backwards. Everyone was surprised by this scene. Junior brother Long is sitting and watching the fish, he is close to Xianxian. Nanfan nodded. Long Zixuan had a very good understanding, and got an unparalleled opportunity from the pond. Lu Rang exclaimed as he flew out and was about to hit the ground. Suddenly, a soft force supported him from behind him. He stood still and saw Qing Chen sweeping the floor. Qing Chen held him up with one hand and smiled slightly at this moment. Lu Rang clearly discovered that Qing Chen seemed to be calm, but actually, could easily withstand the rebound of Long Zixuan's dragon energy. Are you about to become a Xianxian? He was dumbfounded. Damn it! What's going on? I have just become an immortal, but now, I have either become a mysterious immortal, or I am about to cross that hurdle. It's so devastating. When Dugu Yuking saw this scene, he also felt that life was too miserable. Brother, don't cry, we too are scumbags. Lu Rang and Dugu Yuking just hugged each other and cried. Meow meow. At this moment, the white cat passed them at an unimaginable speed and ran into Li Fan's arms. Even this cat has become an immortal, is it stronger than us? Lu Rang's face turned even uglier. Humans are not as good as cats. On the other side, Li Fan was completely unaware. After Xiaobai ran into his arms, he touched it with a smile, then pointed to the poem on the rice paper and read. Spring sleeps without knowing the dawn. Xian Ning concentrates, spring sleeps without knowing the dawn. The small courtyard was filled with the sound of reading. On the other side, the saplings Li Fan planted a few days ago are now growing vigorously. It was only half a meter long before, but now it has grown to almost 1 meter, and there are swollen spores. Now, the core of the Xiantian realm. The hot underground magma is like an underground river, dormant and peaceful. Countless amounts of blood are constantly flowing down the earth and injected into it. That is the blood of Xianxian that Xiantian realm inherited. Blood has been pouring into this hot magma for a month. Just today. Suddenly something seemed to be beating in the magma. Thump. It's like a heartbeat. Following this heartbeat, the magma suddenly surged and spread out like a wave. Now, in a turbulent void. This is a turbulent sea between countless gaps in the lower realm. If the boundless space is the ocean, then the lower realms are islands in this ocean. They may be thousands of miles apart from each other. In the turbulent flow of the void, it is even more dangerous and unpredictable, and all kinds of horrors will happen. However, there are also some paths that connect different worlds. It is extremely difficult to enter the lower realm in the immortal realm and requires a huge price. However, unlike the lower realm, it is easier to cross the boundary wall as long as you cross the turbulent sea. And this stream of light can reach thousands of miles in one step, seeming to be manipulating space. Soon, he stopped outside a hazy world of white mist. This is the coordinates of Xiantian realm. Sandor glanced at the world in front of him. He knew that in the white mist was the boundary wall. If he passed through the boundary wall, he could appear in this world. He took one step forward. The next moment, a piece of land appeared in front of him. The sky is clear and cloudless, and the earth is full of life. Huh? I'm just here. Sandor was suddenly surprised. According to common sense, Xiantian realm is just the Xuanzu realm, and its upper limit is Xianxian. He has an immortal level cultivation, so it is still very difficult for him to pass through the boundary wall. He is even prepared to suppress his cultivation. But I didn't expect it to be so easy. It seems that the information is wrong. The person in Xiantian realm is not just a Xiantian at all, but at least a heavenly immortal. Only in this way can it be explained. Thinking of this, his heart sank slightly. With a sweep of his mind, he quickly found a small sect on this land, and he arrived in an instant. Soon after, he figured out the situation in Xiantian realm. The one who killed the 10 great immortals was in the southern territory. He took one step forward. The next moment, he had appeared in the southern territory. This land is so full of spiritual energy that it is about to give birth to fairy spirit energy. Is this going to grow from the Xuanzi world to the earthly character world? He was shocked. The world grows or declines slowly. He understood why he could easily pass through the boundary wall. Now this world can accommodate immortals, but, isn't the growth rate here too fast? Following the information he found, he headed directly to the Kangli Mountains. Not long after, he had arrived outside the Kangli mountain range. Huh? This mountain range, why do I feel so extraordinary? It seems like there is something hidden. High in the sky, Sandor was surprised and uncertain about the land below. Isn't there really something hidden in the first heaven? His eyes scanned the land, and the next moment, his pupils shrank. He saw a small mountain village on the outskirts of the mountains. Oh my God, where is that place? Just looking at it makes me feel terrified, as if it's a forbidden place. He was shocked. This feeling can only be felt when facing some forbidden places in the fairyland. However, this is a lower realm. How can this be? No, you must take a look. There is most likely some shocking secret involved here. While fearful, he moved forward, and finally approached the outskirts of the small mountain village. The uneasiness in his heart became more and more intense, and he seemed to be approaching an extremely dangerous and terrifying area. Walking on the ground, he even felt like he was carrying a mountain on his back. The closer you get to a small mountain village, the more so. This must be a forbidden place, it must be, only a forbidden place can have such a forbidden power. The higher the cultivation level, the more you can feel it. He was shocked, wiped his sweat, and arrived at the entrance of the village. He vaguely felt the terrifying energy in the mountain village. Still want to go forward? He doesn't dare. Forbidden land, this is really a forbidden land, is it the dojo and burial ground of a certain immortal lord? He was trembling. The forbidden area is said to be related to the immortal lord who has experienced bad luck. Great terror everywhere. In this lower realm, there is actually such a place hidden. He was actually bumped into by himself and others. Who are you? What are you looking at here? At this time, Uncle Zhao suddenly appeared at the entrance of the village, holding a cane and looking at Sandor with a frown. When Sandor heard this, he was startled and looked attentively. An ordinary-looking old man, leaning on a cane. But the terrifying energy came from that crutch. It's over, the existence that walked out of the forbidden land. Sandor was so frightened that he urinated instantly, his liver and gallbladder trembled, he turned around and ran away without stopping. You must know that the forbidden area usually lies dormant in silence, but if someone comes out of the forbidden area, it means terrible bloodshed and disaster. How could he not be afraid? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 94. Sandor left quickly. It was not enough for him to escape from the small mountain village. He took one step forward, and the space path was operating to the extreme, even reaching northern Xinjiang. When he arrived in the northern border, he did not hesitate and flew directly out of the boundary wall. After passing through the fog, he finally left Xiantian realm. Appearing in the turbulent sea, Sandor took a long breath and looked back at Xiantian realm, but his eyes were still filled with fear. I actually escaped alive from the beings who walked out of the forbidden area. He couldn't believe it. No matter what, report back to the helmsman immediately. This is a forbidden area, don't dare to touch. He turned around and ran away. And at this moment, the entrance to the small mountain village. Uncle Zhao was a little puzzled. Who is this? What are you running for? It seems that he is really not a good person. He was probably committing petty theft. I discovered it because I was clever. Uncle Zhao was very pleased with himself, sat on the Grand Master's chair, poured a cup of strong tea, and enjoyed it slowly. About a day later, Sandor finally appears in the spirit world. It was only at this moment that the panic of facing the forbidden area finally stopped. Not long after, he returned to the Earth Spirit Realm branch. Upon hearing that he was back, all the elders in the Subhelm gathered together urgently. In the main hall, seeing Sandor back, all the elders breathed a sigh of relief. It's great that Elder Sandor is back safe and sound. It seems that the existence over there is not too outrageous. Brother Sandor controls the laws of space. As long as he wants to leave, no one can keep him. Everyone is talking. Yang Yuan, the helmsman of the Earth Spirit Realm branch, also showed a faint smile at this moment and said, "Elder Sandor, what's going on? Can you find out clearly?" Sandor's face was gloomy, and he gritted his teeth and said, "Where is Yu Chenbing?" Behind an elder, Yu Chenbing came out and said, "Elder Sandor, the disciple is here." In just a few days, he had been restored to health by using powerful means. This is the method of immortals. Once you become an immortal, unless your body and soul are destroyed, you can survive even if you have one breath left. However, as soon as he finished speaking, Sandor slapped him. "Ah!" Yu Chenbing screamed and exploded on the spot. He only has one remnant soul left. "Sandor, what are you doing? Elder Sandor, why did you take action?" Everyone was surprised. "What's going on?" Yang Yuan also frowned. Sandor said angrily, "This trash almost made me die in Xiantian realm." Hearing this, everyone looked shocked. Almost died in Xiantian realm. There is a forbidden place hidden in Xiantian realm. Sandor spoke immediately. In an instant, the whole place in the branch was in an uproar. Forbidden place? No, it's impossible. How can there be a forbidden place in the lower realm? Forbidden places can only be found in the fairyland. Elder Sandor, are you mistaken? Everyone was extremely surprised. They are all from the immortal realm, so they don't know what these four words mean. If there really is a forbidden place, let alone them, even if Deluo Jinxian comes, they will not dare to touch it. What's going on? Yang Yuan also looked extremely solemn. If there really is a forbidden place, then things are going big. What I said is absolutely true. Sandor said, "You guests know that the status of the Xiantian realm has been promoted to the level of heavenly immortal in just a few days. Moreover, I personally went to the southern territory and saw with my own eyes that so-called small mountain village. It was not a mountain village at all, it was a forbidden area. In the forbidden area, a terrifying old man walked out, and he discovered me." Speaking of this matter, Sandor was still frightened. It's really a narrow escape, what a blessing. Hearing this, everyone's expressions were even more shocked. The old man who walked out of the forbidden area. This is too scary. Even in the immortal realm, if a taboo existence comes out, it will be a big event that will overturn the entire region. Immediately afterwards, Sandor described everything he saw in detail. Following his words, the hall fell into dead silence. "Captain, if you say so, it's very possible that there really is a forbidden area hidden in that place. Yes, I seriously suspect that this may be related to the legendary First Heaven. Perhaps, that forbidden place was transformed by a certain immortal lord-level figure in the First Heaven." Many elders spoke one after another. Thinking of the legend of the First Heaven realm, they became more and more convinced that that place was not simple. However, Yang Yuan was deep in thought. Suddenly, he raised his eyes and said, "Elder Sandor, did the being walking out of the forbidden area discover you? But, he let you come back alive?" Sandor nodded. "Then, I think this forbidden area is probably fake." Yang Yuan said word by word, "In the history of history, no one who broke into the forbidden land except the great figures who defied the heavens survived. What's more, the being among them discovered you. How could you possibly come back alive under such circumstances? Hearing this, everyone was also confused. Yes. The legend of the Forbidden Land is terrifying. Why is Sandor able to come back even after he is discovered? This is unreasonable. Even Sandor himself felt a little confused at this moment. Could it be that I really saw it wrong? It's really getting more and more interesting. In my opinion, that place is most likely not a forbidden area, but it contains forbidden things. Yang Yuantian smiled and said, the so-called small mountain village probably relied on forbidden things to give you the illusion. However, the other party cannot use the forbidden things at will, so you can come back. After his analysis, everyone nodded. That makes sense. So, not only is that place not scary, but it is very likely that it holds a great opportunity. Possible. Everyone spoke one after another, and for a moment, their eyes even looked eager. Forbidden objects also mean that they are most likely to be immortal lord-level artifacts. If you can get it, unimaginable. I don't think it's possible. That place is indeed very scary. Sandor looked grim. Yang Yuantian said, of course, a place that can hide a forbidden place will not be too simple. We are determined to win the Xiantian realm, and we must also get the forbidden artifacts. Listen to my orders. He stood up and said calmly, we are at the helm. Currently, we have controlled the 99 lower realms. We will immediately arrange the World Fusion Formation to promote the fusion of the 99 lower realms. These are the 99 lower realms that will revolve around the Xiantian realm. The storm and power generated when the 99 are merged, even the great Luo Jingxian cannot withstand it. At that time, the Xiantian realm will be turned into powder, and the so-called Forbidden Land will be completely destroyed, and only the forbidden artifacts will be left. He sneered, we just have to wait to get the treasure. This strategy, I call it, integration of 100 realms. The fusion of hundreds of worlds. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 95. Fairyland. Northern Immortal Territory, Shenzhen City. The news spread throughout the upper echelons of Shenzhen City. Qingyu Sect. Sect Master, we have found out clearly. It is true that the Tianhuan sect was severely injured by a piano sound, and countless immortals died. In the main hall, an elder stepped forward and spoke excitedly, Immortal Lord, breaking the formation song will definitely not go wrong. The elders around all looked excited. Sect Master, we can't let this opportunity pass by. We must go down to the lower realm. As long as we can get this Immortal Lord's formation breaking song, our sect's strength will increase significantly, and it may even become an immortal power. Yes, this is so important to us. They spoke excitedly. In the immortal realm, the Immortal Lord is also called immortal. The strength established by the Immortal Lord level powerhouses is also called the Immortal level force. Immortal Lord breaking formation song, as its name suggests, was left behind by a generation of Immortal Lord Shenzhen Immortal Lord, which contains its invincible path. Inestimable value. The leader of the Qingyu sect is a beautiful woman. She wears a veil on her face and has a crescent moon mark on her forehead, which makes her look quite sacred. However, we and the Tianhuan sect are equally powerful, and they both lost. Can we do it? There was hesitation on her face. Taiwa Zone. Taoist Zishan, the leader of the Taiwa sect, was overjoyed. He laughed loudly and said, I didn't expect that I would get the news that the Immortal Lord broke the formation song today, great, great. In the sect, all cultivators of Xianxian and above must assemble immediately. Even if we use the whole sect's strength, we will take it. Listen to Jianj. An old man in grey robe is playing the erhu at the moment. He had his eyes open, but there were only whites in his pupils, which looked very scary. In his erhu, there was a faint, sonorous sword intent that continued. Beside him, a group of old men in grey robes were waiting for him. Soon, he finally finished playing the erhu. Pavilion Master, we must get the Immortal Lord formation breaking song. This is very important to us. Someone spoke. The old man playing the erhu slowly raised his eyes and said, if I can listen to the Immortal Lord's song of breaking the formation, I will not be afraid even if I die. Prepare the nether world. Holy Cloud Sect. Xuanhuan, the leader of Xuanhuan sect, is also the city lord of Xuanhuan city. He was dressed in golden robes, walking like a tiger and a dragon, and walked into the hall at this moment. In the main hall, rows of immortal generals wearing golden armor were already waiting. Sect Master, we are ready to descend to the realm at any time. They roared angrily. Xuanhuan glanced at them with satisfaction, then waved his hand and said, it's not time yet. Come here, send an order immediately, saying that I invite Master King Yu, Master Tingji Pavilion, and Taoist Zishan to gather together. Suddenly, someone outside was ordered to leave. Not long after, 3 powerful men arrived outside the Xuanhuan sect. The leader of King Yu sect and others were shocked when they saw the golden armored immortal generals gathered in Xuanhuan sect. Everyone has gotten the message, and I won't beat around the bush. Xuanhuan smiled slightly and said, everyone wants the Immortal Lord to break the formation song, but the 4 of us can't fight on our own, right? Don't forget what happened to the Tianhuan section. Hearing this, the 3 major sect masters were all surprised. The master of Tingji Pavilion blinked his white eyes and said, what do you mean, Master Ao? Xuanhuan said, join hands. Only by joining forces can we ensure that we win the Immortal Lord's formation breaking song. Then we share it among the 4 of us. He is very direct. Hearing this, several sect leaders began to think. I, the King Yu sect, agree. At this time, King Yu sect leader was the first to speak. She was originally worried that there was not much difference in strength between King Yu sect and Tianhuan section facing the existence of Xiantian realm, they might not have much chance of winning. Best together. Okay, our Tewa sect also agrees. The purple-robed Taoist also spoke. Of course we, Tingjianj, will also give you sect master Ao's golden face. The master of Tingjian Pavilion smiled. Everyone agreed. Very good. Immediately gather everyone above Xianxian from the 4 major sects to set up a boundary-breaking formation and prepare for the lower world. Xuanhuan spoke immediately. The lower realm, in the vast and turbulent sea. A black phantom, 1 step away, is thousands of miles away. It was a woman in a black dress, with a proud figure, but an aura of terror. At this moment, she was stuck somewhere in the turbulence, her beautiful eyes looking in a certain direction. Xiantian realm. It was a world of hazy white mist. She sensed a familiar feeling. Ever since she received the news from Ming Tianbei in the Demon Palace, she came through the turbulent flow of the void at an unparalleled speed. Now, it's finally here. She took 1 step forward and fell outside the white mist. Only for immortals. She frowned. If it were in the past, she would never deign to suppress her cultivation to enter a certain realm. She was more accustomed to directly breaking through the walls. Either be destroyed into scorched earth, or surrender. That's all, since the Demon Lord is here, perhaps nothing can happen in this world. She randomly lowered her cultivation level and entered the white mist. The next moment, she appeared in a field. She has entered the Xiantian realm. At a glance, the ground beneath our feet is full of green grass, green oasis, and full of life. This is the former Western Desert. During this period, earth-shaking changes were taking place in Xiantian realm, and even the desert was coming back to life. Huh? This world is a little weird, it's like there's something hidden. Her spiritual thoughts are extremely powerful, and at this level, she can even feel some kind of secret energy. If I don't have other missions, I really want to take a look at this world. She didn't stop, turned around and headed towards the South Territory. Soon, she appeared on the land of the Southern Territory. With a thought in her mind, she began to summon Ming Tianbei. At this moment, Ming Tianbei was in retreat outside the small mountain village. Suddenly, his expression was shocked. He stood up with great joy, and said, "The demon commander Gongya is finally here." He immediately walked out of the retreat cave and reached a place far away from the small mountain village in an instant, and then activated his magic power to respond. Just a moment. In front of him, a woman wearing a long black dress had appeared. "Subordinates, please visit Demon Commander Gongya." Ming Tianbei immediately knelt down to salute and spoke with great joy. Gongya looked at Ming Tianbei indifferently and said, "Where is the Demon Commander? Why can't I feel her aura in this world?" Ming Tianbei immediately said, to the Demon Commander, "The Demon Commander has received the protection of a terrifying senior and is currently following him." Gongya said indifferently, "I asked you to protect the Demon Lord, but now, you actually handed over the Demon Lord to an unknown person. You are so brave." Ming Tianbei's whole body trembled instantly, and he knelt on the ground and said, "No. Demon Commander, it was Demon Lord who asked me to leave. She said she wanted to stay with that senior." "Senior?" Gongya's words were a little displeased, and she said, "You said, the Demon Lord calls that person a senior." Ming Tianbei felt the anger in Demon Commander Gongya's words. He knew that if he wasn't careful, he might be killed on the spot. "Yes, Demon Commander, my subordinates don't dare to lie, Demon Commander. That senior lives in seclusion in a small mountain village not far away. Those small mountain villages are very scary." He trembled and spoke. "Small mountain village? Seclusion?" A coldness flashed in Gongya's eyes, and she said, "Take me to see you." Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 96. Not long after, Gongya and Ming Tianbei arrived in front of the small mountain village. "Wait a minute, there's something weird here." Gongya was surprised and spoke solemnly, "This small mountain village may seem ordinary, but there are clearly terrifying Taoist rhymes and rules dormant, as if there are countless avenues emerging in it." Hearing this, Ming Tianbei was also shocked. When he came, he also felt that there was something extraordinary here, but because of his lack of cultivation, he couldn't quite tell what it was. At this moment, after listening to the Demon Commander's words, I am even more in awe of this place. The principles of Tao are permeated, and the charm of Tao is full. Even in the demon realm and immortal realm, there are very few places like this, right? It seems that there might really be some great person hiding here. Gongya thought for a moment, fear flashed in her heart. Such a place is very extraordinary. If something happens if she enters it rashly, even if she is the demon commander, she may be in danger. But the next moment, she still stepped into the small mountain village with her hands behind her back. No matter how dangerous or unfathomable it was, she could never sit idly by if the Demon King was among them. As soon as she walked into the small mountain village, she felt the charm of the small mountain village more clearly. The great road appears in the air, and the mysterious energy that transcends the spirit of the immortals is hidden. What exactly is hidden here? If you practice here, one day will be worth several years. She couldn't help but murmur. While walking, "The senior you mentioned is living in seclusion in this shocking cave." Gongya suddenly pointed to a stone house. Her expression was very solemn. From that stone house, he felt a supreme energy, even surpassing her demon palace. "No. No." Ming Tianbei was a little confused and said, "Demon Commander, this is just an ordinary villager's house." "Ordinary villagers?" Demon Commander Gongya glanced at Ming Tianbei in confusion. She moved on, but was already wary of where she was going. no. Stay away from the fences in front. They contain a terrifying formation. Don't enter them by mistake. Suddenly, she spoke in shock again and hurriedly stayed away from a vegetable patch. That vegetable field was fenced with bamboo. Ming Tianbei was even more astonished. He often passed by this fence. What kind of terrifying formation could it be? He suddenly broke into a cold sweat. God, what is hidden in this small mountain village? Fortunately, these days, I have not been messing around in the village, and have been keeping a low profile and behave like a human being, no, a devil. Otherwise, I'm afraid I'll die 800 times, right? This place is too scary. You should follow me closely, otherwise I won't be able to protect you if something happens. Beads of sweat are already appearing on the tip of Gong Yamo Shui's straight nose. She is so nervous. In this small mountain village, it is clear that there is terror and murder everywhere. When she said this, Ming Tianbei became completely nervous. Even the demon commander is so cautious. They were two in tandem. When crossing a ditch, Gongya's whole body was tense, and she was frightened every step she took from the stone bridge. Because there are terrifying laws in the ditch. Passing an old jujube tree on the roadside, Gongya avoided it. She said that the old jujube tree had given birth to terrifying creatures. Seeing a piece of green grass, she walked carefully through the grassless area. Every blade of grass is a sharp sword that can destroy immortals. Don't be careless. She remains cautious. Finally, after half a day, they slowly advanced not far. Ming Tianbei was already sweating profusely and his heart was trembling. God, why didn't I find out before? So careless, so careless. As expected, only a being with unparalleled cultivation like Demon Commander can see through the mysteries of this place. He wiped his sweat and made up his mind. I will never dare to walk around in the village again. So scary. And at this moment, in the small courtyard, Li Fan was picking peaches. The peaches on the peach trees are almost ripe. When it is ripe, it must be eaten in time to prevent it from rotting. Therefore, Li Fan planned to pick them all. Except for leaving some for himself and his disciples to enjoy, Li Fan took out the rest and distributed them to the villagers in the village. At this moment, 3 large baskets have been filled with huge and plump peaches. Each one is bright red and mouth-watering. A group of disciples were also busy. Seeing so many peaches being picked, many disciples were dizzy. Just the fairy energy emitted by the flat peach made them feel that their pores were dilated and their fairy power was running faster. There are so many flat peaches, each one is a priceless treasure, even higher than the level of holy medicine. Duguyuking felt a little dumbfounded. This was too much. It is said that flat peaches bloom once every 3,000 years, bear fruit once every 3,000 years, and mature once every 3,000 years, but in Master's courtyard, they mature so quickly. Nanfeng murmured, looking at so many flat peaches, she felt incredible. This is Master's amazing method. The way of growing and cultivating it has reached the point where even flat peaches can be easily changed. It is simply unpredictable. Lu Rang had a look of admiration on his face and wished he could kneel down. Finally, almost all the ripe peaches on the peach tree were picked, leaving only some unripe ones still hanging on the branches. Leave a basket for us to eat ourselves. Duguyuking and Lu Rang, put the peaches on your back. I will take you to deliver peaches to the folks in the village. Li Fan spoke. Hearing this, several disciples were even more shocked. To the folks in the village. They just felt like the corners of their mouths were twitching. If such a divine object were placed in the outside world, all the world would go crazy for it. How could you expect that here, Li Fan would give it to ordinary villagers casually? If the world knew about it, I'm afraid the powerful would kneel down and beg to settle down here. Master treats others with kindness. A little bit of it from his hands is enough for the world to enjoy. Xuanhuan murmured. Master is indeed worthy of being a giant Buddha who saves all sentient beings. You can give away these divine objects as soon as you say, this is the real Buddha. Qing Chen also admires him very much. Let's go. Li Fan spoke. Dugu Yuking and Lu Rang immediately carried 2 bamboo baskets on their backs. Big brother, I'll go with you. Xian Ning stepped forward and took Li Fan's hand. After getting along with each other for this period of time, although she became more and more in awe of Li Fan, she also became very familiar with Li Fan and understood that Li Fan was approachable, just like a real big brother. She couldn't help but gradually began to trust Li Fan from the bottom of her heart. Li Fan said, okay. He thought that Xian Ning had been fleeing for a long time, and finally arrived in a mountain village. He wanted to take her to integrate into this mountain village and feel more of the simple warmth. This is very good for the growth of children. They walked out of the courtyard, and Li Fan led them to deliver peaches from door to door. This is Aunt Wang's house. Li Fan knocked on the door and introduced. Yeah, Xiao Li is here, come on, come in and sit down. Aunt Wang saw it was Li Fan and was very enthusiastic. Aunt Wang, the peaches are ripe in my yard. I specially brought some for you. Come quickly and bring a container. Li Fan smiled. Oh, Xiao Li, you are so kind to me. Aunt Wang was not polite. She took a bamboo dustpan and picked up 7 or 8 big peaches. With a smile on her face, she suddenly said mysteriously. Xiao Li, I told you last time that I would introduce you to the niece of the old Qin family. Do you have any intention? That girl is pretty and smooth, especially with a big S, and is easy to give birth to. If she marries her home, I promise to give you a child. Pile of big fat boys. Hearing this, Li Fan hurriedly said, Aunt Wang, thank you, but I think it's good for me to be single. I'll leave first if I have something else to do. He ran away in a hurry. Oh, the niece of the old Qin family can't do it, but the granddaughter of the old Zhang family is also a diligent and thrifty person. Behind the scenes, Aunt Wang was still shouting. After leaving Aunt Wang's house, Lu Rang and Dugu Yuking had complicated expressions, and their eyes were filled with incredible looks. Such a fierce and unfathomable figure as Master, who could kill Xianxian with a snap of his fingers, was actually made to run away by an ordinary rural woman? This is simply unimaginable. Who would believe it? Xian Ning's big eyes were also full of curiosity, and she couldn't help but giggle, and said, Brother, I also heard that the pretty and smooth eldest sister is very fertile. You little brat, you are as big as a brat. Li Fan pinched Xian Ning's face. Hey, Master, look, there's a pretty and smooth person in front of you. At this time, Lu Rang suddenly spoke and looked forward, his eyes shining. What a beautiful woman. Dugu Yuking also focused instantly. Li Fan looked up and saw a woman walking on the road ahead. The woman was wearing a long black dress, which outlined her proud tall figure, with looming graceful and seductive curves, long straight legs, towering breasts, and skin as smooth as gel. There was a red flower embroidered on the left breast of her black dress, which added a cold beauty to her beauty. At this moment, this beautiful and charming woman was panting, dripping with sweat, and seemed to be very tired. Li Fan was startled for a moment. This girl is indeed very pretty and smooth. Where did this come from? This person is surprisingly the demon commander Gongya, who entered the small mountain village with Ming Tianbei. At this moment, Gongya was also stunned. Just now, she saw Xian Ning from a distance, so she was very excited and wanted to go up and pay her respects. However, just now she saw that the young man next to the demon lord pinched the demon lord's face casually. What's going on? The other party is so brave. That was a generation of demon kings. Who are you? How dare you act so boldly? Gongya couldn't help but look at Li Fan and scold him. In her opinion, Li Fan didn't have the aura of a cultivator in him, and the two young men next to him were just little immortals, like ants. She was angry that he dared to disrespect the demon lord. A faint magical power was immediately released. In an instant, Zhuge Yuqing and Lu Rang, who were beside Li Fan, were shocked in their hearts. Their pupils shrank, and they understood that the beautiful and smooth woman in front of them was a very terrifying cultivator. They are facing a formidable enemy. But when Xuanhuan saw this, she hurriedly said, "Gongya, don't be rude." Gongya immediately looked at Xuanhuan and said, "Demon. Shut up." Xuanhuan scolded. The cold Gongya was stunned for a moment, but then she really shut her mouth without saying a word. Why? Why is the demon lord so eager? Could it be that, as Ming Tianbei said, there is some terrifying master who lives in seclusion? Zhuge Yuqing and Lu Rang were even more shocked at this moment. Judging from my feelings just now, this woman in black skirt is very scary. But, to be scolded by this little girl Xuanhuan? What's going on? Xuanhuan, do you know this person? Li Fan also asked questions. Xuanhuan's big eyes were a little nervous at this moment. She was deeply afraid that Gongya would offend Li Fan, so she hurriedly said, "Brother, she used to be my maid." She could only tell it truthfully. Gongya is the maid of the nine-saint demon lord, but she is also one of his most powerful demon commanders. When Li Fan heard this, he was momentarily surprised. Maid. He understood immediately. Before Xuanhuan was hunted down, he guessed that Xuanhuan probably had an extraordinary life experience. Now it seemed that it was indeed the case. Xuanhuan is probably still a rich girl. That's for sure. And this maid came to find peace of mind. It turns out to be your maid. Li Fangxiao looked at Gongya and said, "Your young lady is currently in our hospital, you can rest assured. It's still very safe here." Hearing this, Gongya was surprised. Is this young man the senior who scares Ming Tianbei even when he mentions it? How can this be? Moreover, the demon lord's attitude towards him was clearly respectful. In the vast realm of immortals and demons, how many people can be treated like this by the demon lord? At this moment, Li Fan continued, "Yu Qing, Lu Rang, you two will continue to give these peaches to the villagers. I will take Xuanhuan and the girl back home first. Now that the other party has come, maybe even if they want to take Xuanhuan away, there must be a handover. I have to go back and ask clearly." Hearing this, Zhuge Yuqing and Lu Rang said, "Yes, master." The two of them immediately picked up the bamboo baskets and continued walking forward. The moment they passed by Gongya, they instantly caught Gongya's attention. She subconsciously glanced at Zhuge Yuqing and Lu Rang's bamboo baskets. It doesn't matter if you don't look at it, but after just one glance, she was immediately stunned. What is that? Flat peach. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Gui Xian. Chapter 97. At this moment, the demon commander Gongya subconsciously rubbed his eyes. Is that a flat peach? No, how is that possible? This is the lower realm. Moreover, flat peaches bloom only once every 3,000 years, bear fruit once every 3,000 years, and mature once every 3,000 years. They are extremely rare treasures in heaven and earth. Even in the fairyland, they are extremely precious. Even though she is the demon commander, she has only seen him before. Far from eating it. But now there are actually people carrying two big baskets, and giving them away. Is this true or false? However, that surging fairy spirit, the rich Taoist charm, a peach, seems to give birth to this kind of avenue. This is obviously a true flat peach. You can't go wrong. Really, is it a flat peach? She subconsciously turned around and looked at Li Fan, her beautiful eyes filled with deep fear. What kind of existence is this? He can easily deliver 2 large baskets of peaches, so how many must he have planted? Then think of the murderous intentions, formations, etc. encountered along the way, just now. She understood that the young man in front of her was not a mortal at all, but herself, and she could not fathom his depth at all. She somewhat understood why the demon lord was so respectful to do. Immediately, she took a deep breath and said, as ordered. Li Fan immediately turned towards the small courtyard with peace of mind. Not long after, he returned to the small courtyard with Xuanhuan. This is a humble abode, please come in. Li Fan smiled. Gongya looked at the small courtyard in front of her and saw the 4 big characters on the courtyard door, Wu or Leisure Courtyard. At this moment, she was stunned. Obviously, it was just a small courtyard that looked ordinary, but she felt the overwhelming power. This place seems to be a supreme ancient immortal palace, a forbidden world that cannot be entered. Just by getting closer, she could feel the undulating aura of the avenue, filling it everywhere. The 4 words Wu or Xianting contained an aura that made her dare not look any further. Forbidden area. She subconsciously murmured 4 words, looked at Li Fan, and saw the calm and easygoing smile on the corner of Li Fan's mouth. The Lord of the Forbidden Land. She understood everything instantly. The entire small mountain village is basically a forbidden area. And this small courtyard is the forbidden area among the forbidden areas, the core of the small mountain village. I met the Lord of the Forbidden Land. Moreover, walked into his forbidden area. Gongya, who has a cold personality, subconsciously swallowed a mouthful of saliva at this moment and felt that her limbs were freezing. What are you waiting for? Come in. Li Fan smiled and stepped forward to open the door. Xuanhuan also said, Gongya, big brother asks you to come, just come. She didn't know what Li Fan was going to do, but it was impossible to refuse. Gongya had no choice but to bite the bullet, nod, and follow. Walked into the small courtyard. Step into the moment. Gongya's whole body felt weak. She felt the terrifying principles of the ocean, as well as some unspeakably powerful existence. This kind of pressure directly made her fall to the ground, letting out a scared moan. Li Fan turned around and saw Gongya lying on the ground, vaguely revealing her perfect and tempting figure. He couldn't help but be stunned. Is this maid too squeamish? You only walked a few steps and fell down? He turned around, helped Gongya up, and said, are you tired? Gongya subconsciously hugged Li Fan's arm before reluctantly standing up. Feeling the backlog of Gongya's proud breasts, Li Fan's arm stiffened slightly. But the moment she stood up, a look of panic flashed across Gongya's face, and she hurriedly said, yes, I'm sorry, Senior, I'm sorry. Is a lowly person like me qualified to touch such a terrifying existence? Fortunately, with the support of this terrifying senior, she suddenly felt that the terrible oppression around her disappeared. Nothing, nothing, come and sit. Li Fan turned around and sat on the chair. Gongya stepped forward nervously, but she didn't dare to raise her head at all. You must be too tired. The peaches are ripe today. Let's eat one first. Li Fan grabbed a peach from the bamboo basket and handed it to Gongya. Gongya was instantly shocked. This senior was going to give her a flat peach. God, is this too generous? As a demon commander who leads an army, she was so nervous and uneasy that she couldn't speak. She didn't know what to do. Sister Gongya, Brother Li gave you a peach, please accept it. Brother Li is very generous. This is normal. Xuanhuan also smiled, she knew very well how her subordinate felt. When she first entered this small courtyard, as a demon king, she was so frightened that she cried. After hearing this, Gongya took a deep breath, took the peach respectfully, and bit it gently. Fairy spirit blooms between the teeth. The rhyme and principles of the Tao are transformed into the whole body. Such a sweet taste. The baptism of such a divine creature. Gongya suddenly became intoxicated. She couldn't help it and took another bite. So sweet. So big. She ate it with enjoyment, and soon she finished the whole peach. Boom. Gongya's aura suddenly improved. She actually broke through. Oh my god, I've been promoted from the 4th level of Heavenly Demon Commander to the 7th level of Heavenly Demon Commander. She was shocked. What kind of speed is this? You must know that the further you reach the later stages of your practice, the harder it will be to make progress. Above the Demon Commander is the Demon Lord. As for the Demon Commander, he is equivalent to the Deluo Golden Immortal Realm in the Immortal Realm. Every step he takes 10,000 years. Now, the blessings I have received are equivalent to 30 to 40,000 years of hard work. Thank you, Senior. At this moment, she was completely convinced. Before, she was still skeptical. What terrible existence could exist in the lower realm? It would be great to have 1 or 2 golden immortals. But I never expected that there would be such a being as the Lord of the Forbidden Zone hidden here. What's even more rare is that the other party is actually friendly to himself and others. Have to respect. Li Fan smiled and said, no need to say thank you. Are you here to take your young lady away? He asked. Hearing this, Xuanhuan and Gongya were suddenly startled. What does the senior mean, by asking this question? Does he want to take the Demon Lord away, or does he not? Gongya was undecided. After all, although the other party seems kind, how can the owner of the restricted area be you? If you don't answer well, I'm afraid it will bring disaster to yourself and the devil. She thought for a moment and couldn't answer randomly, so she had to say, follow the instructions of senior. Li Fan frowned slightly. Even Gongya herself doesn't know what to do. This shows that, Xuanhuan is probably in a bad situation. If Xuanhuan's family is still strong, then Gongya will definitely take her back without hesitation. Now both the master and the servant are so confused, they are afraid, they are homeless. Are you afraid of her enemies? Li Fan asked. Gongya said, although the enemy is strong, I am willing to fight to the death for the young lady. Li Fan sighed. Even though Gongya had courage, what could a prostitute do? Xuanhuan, what about you? Do you want to leave, or what? Li Fan asked Xuanhuan again. Xuanhuan blinked her big eyes, and suddenly kept Li Fan's arm obediently, saying, I don't want to leave big brother. Li Fan thought for a moment and said immediately, okay, in that case, you two can continue to stay here. This place is quite safe. Hearing this, Xuanhuan was overjoyed and said, thank you, big brother. Gongya was also inexplicably overjoyed at this moment. The Lord of the restricted area allowed herself and the Demon Lord to stay here? That's great. She also hurriedly thanked, thank you, Senior, for taking me in. Although she is a demon commander, she is not invincible. There are also 8 demon commanders left behind by the 9 saint demon lords in the past, who are watching with eager eyes. In addition, there are powerful enemies in the immortal world. The 9 saint demon lords in the past offended many immortal monarchs. If Xuanhuan really needs to be taken away, Gongya will be under great pressure. However, now that the senior has spoken out to protect him, how can there be anything to fear? She was relieved. However, since you stay, you have to do something. Li Fan looked at Gongya and said, you are Xuanhuan's maid, can you do housework and other things? He really needs someone to do housework, after all, the courtyard is so big. Although Nanfeng and Ziling are also hard-working, they are not familiar with it, and they also need to learn painting and piano, so they can't be allowed to cook all the time. Gongya was startled for a moment. Home, housework. She is a devilish commander and is powerful in all directions. I have never heard of this word before. She will. But Xianning has already spoken hastily and said, brother, from now on, she will be your maid. Demon Commander Gongya gritted his teeth at this moment and said bravely, Senior, I can do everything. Let's stay here first. As for housework and other things, the worst thing is studying. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 98. Now. The turbulent sea of void. Streams of light streak across the void, traveling between different worlds. In the Xianming realm, the world tree disappeared a year ago, and the entire world entered a sharp decline. Almost all the creatures in the world are lamenting. They have learned that a powerful immortal has taken away the world tree. In a few years, this world will become a wasteland. Today, several powerful immortals appeared in this world. They buried pieces of white jade formation discs at the four poles of this world. When all the white jade array plates were buried, several immortals injected spiritual power. In an instant, 4 terrifying beams of light rose from the four poles of the world, as if imprisoning the entire world. In an instant, countless creatures fell into panic. What happened? What is going on? Why do I feel like the earth is shaking and the world is almost shut down? It's too scary. Is this going to destroy the world? The heaven and earth are shaking. Zodiac realm. This world is smaller than the Xuanzi world, so the 3 formations have already made the whole world dark and the earth shakes. The earth is cracked, as if the whole world is about to be destroyed. The Supreme Being, Holy Lord, etc. are all wailing. Earth UN realm. This world is very powerful, and it took 4 mysterious immortals to completely control the formation. The moment the formation suddenly lit up, there was even a remnant of the world's will to contend with it. This world is rejecting the fate of being integrated. However, the magic weapons in the hands of the 4 great immortals lit up, suppressing everything. Without the world tree, nothing can stop them. For a time, the whole world was paying attention, and some powerful creatures were watching coldly. Even if we are merged, we, the Earth UN realm, are also the center and can still dominate. Some strong men roared unwillingly. After being integrated, the Earth UN realm will still be the Earth UN realm, but other worlds will become our vassals. Some creatures are whispering. The Earth character world is very powerful and can give birth to heavenly immortals and even golden immortals. Therefore, the strong men in this world are much calmer and waiting. The Earth Spirit World. In the main hall of the Earth Spirit Realm. Reporting to the helmsman, the formations of the 99 worlds have been set up. An elder reported. In a few days, almost all the men and horses in the helm were dispatched just to set up a large formation. Now, with just one command, the 99 worlds will merge under the influence of the 99 giant formations. The terrifying power generated will completely turn the Xiantian realm at the center of the storm into powder. Looking up, the helmsman Yang Yuantian nodded, with a sneer on his lips. I have reported the action to the branch church, and the branch church will send some people to help us. After all, the Holy Land also cares about the possible taboo artifacts. He spoke. Hearing this, everyone was even more relieved. Where is Yang Yuantian? Why haven't you come out to greet us? At this time, a faint voice came from outside. For a moment, everyone hurried out. I saw 5 people already appearing at the mountain gate. One of the old men, Dao Guxianfeng, looked very extraordinary and seemed to be otherworldly. His eyes were full of indifference and ruthlessness. And beside him, the 4 powerful men following him, none of them were weaker than Yang Yuantian. This is, Song City Elder Zhou. Elder Zhou of Song Cheng, if I remember correctly, I am about to break through to Tai Golden Immortal, right? It's incredible that the old man actually came in person. Everyone spoke one after another, very shocked. Yang Yuantian also stepped forward and bowed deeply, saying, I have met Elder Song. At present, we have everything arranged. When will we start to merge the 100 realms, please let us know. Hearing this, Song Chengzhou said indifferently, in fact, there is no need to fight like this to destroy a small Xiantian realm, but since you have made complete preparations, and the integration of hundreds of realms is also the need of the times, we won't bother anymore and start immediately. Bar. I will be in charge of this fusion. In addition, there are 7 golden immortals guarding the earth and spirit realm branches. I hope that, as you said, there are any taboos. Otherwise, the consequences of deceiving the branch hall will be yours. Understandable. There was a hint of threat in his words. Yang Yuantian suddenly shuddered and said, Elder, please rest assured. Then, he immediately spoke and said, give me the order to activate the formation and start fusion. Open the formation and start fusion. Orders one after another were quickly transmitted from the Earth spirit world to all walks of life through the communication crystal. The mysterious world. The order has been given, activate the formation. A branch elder looked at the crystal in his hand and spoke immediately. In an instant, the entire Xianming realm seemed to be driven by some kind of terrifying force, and it actually began to move sideways in the void. The world collapsed, rivers poured in, and countless creatures were wailing. Earth UN realm. Turn on. A voice also recalled that the 6 rainbow lights rising into the sky were like 6 terrifying chains, pulling on the entire world. Even though the Earth UN realm has a high status, strange phenomena such as landslides are also occurring now, and panic sounds can be heard among all the spirits. Seal up the sect and wait for the integration to be completed. Irresistible, lurk immediately. Many big forces have made corresponding preparations. Zodiac realm. No. Help. Is this going to destroy the world? Countless cultivators and mortals were wailing. When the Great Formation broke out, the Zodiac realm, which had insufficient space, collapsed into 3 parts directly in the turbulence of the void. From the perspective of the entire turbulent sea of void, it looks like 3 broken wooden boards, moving in a certain direction. If there were a pair of eyes hanging high in the void, then at this moment, one would definitely be able to see that nearly 100 small worlds are actually gathering towards a certain place under the pull of a certain formation. It's like a starry sky moving. Soon, as those worlds moved, they brought forth terrifying void waves. Countless storms intersect and overlap. Finally, a terrifying whirlpool appears. It was formed by the terrifying fluctuations caused by the 99 worlds. It gathered the power of the 99 worlds and was enough to destroy everything. That terrifying vortex is moving with the movement of the world, heading rapidly in a certain direction. And in that direction, there is actually a world that has not moved at all, staying still in place. The great whirlpool in the void is rapidly approaching that world, and seems to be about to swallow it up. Fairyland. Northern Immortal Territory, Xuanhuan City. At this moment, a 5-color altar has also been built. The 5-color altar is almost entirely made of ancient primitive boundary stones. This time, none of the 4 major sects had anything to hide, and almost everything they had at the bottom of the box was taken out. Just to ensure that they can send powerful people down to the immortal realm to the greatest extent possible. Outside the altar, the masters of the 4 major sects have also gathered. Xuanhuan brought the golden armor generals of Shenjian sect, almost all of them were Xianxian or above, and there were more than a dozen celestials. Xuanhuan himself has even reached the golden immortal realm. Next to him, Qingyu sect master, Zishan Taoist, and Tingjian pavilion master were all equally extraordinary. The 3 of them are second only to Xuanhuan, and they are all at the peak of the immortal realm. They are only 1 step away from entering that realm. This time, Our four major sects have one golden immortal, 25 heavenly immortals, and nearly 100 mysterious immortals. The purple-shirt Taoist's eyes were a little fanatical, and he said, "We must get that immortal lord-breaking formation song." The rest of the people also nodded. At this point, they had already fired their bows and there was no turning back. If it fails, I am afraid that all four major sects will be severely damaged. However, this probability can be ignored. With their strength, let alone a small Xuan's a lower realm, they can destroy even those powerful earthly character realms. Open the altar, crack the boundary wall, cross the boundary. Ao Wushuan shouted. And at this moment, Xiantian realm, the whole world, suddenly panicked. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 99. Xiantian realm. At this moment, the whole world is shaking. The earth was shaking slightly, and the white clouds in the sky dispersed without wind. It was obviously noon, but the sun was disappearing and appearing. There is day and night between heaven and earth. And every living creature felt a great terror. What's going on? Why do I feel like there's some kind of terrifying existence that's going to swallow up our entire world? I have a vague feeling that there is a big hand that is going to destroy Xiantian realm. What happened? Oh my God, is this the last cross-border move again? Countless people are panicked. The last time, the 10 mysterious immortals crossed the border, but it was visible at the time and everyone knew what happened. This time, everything happened invisible. No one knew what was happening, but everyone was terrified. The unknown existence is destroying this world. Southern Territory. What the hell is going on? What happened? Holy Lord Ling Chao was shocked. He looked around Tianyu in panic and was at a loss. Where is the enemy? Where is the enemy? Holy Lord Yuan Yang took one step forward and appeared in the sky above the Southern Territory. He stared closely at the boundary wall, but he did not feel the fluctuations coming from the boundary wall. It's not caused by someone crossing the border? Two Taoist brothers, do you know what happened? Holy Lord Sahang also arrived, his beautiful eyes filled with nervousness. I don't know. Holy Lord Yuan Yang frowned. Guys, what happened? My heart has never been so trembling, as if the whole world is about to be destroyed. Holy Master Kongming was even more anxious. They are already immortals. If someone crosses the border, they dare to fight? However, no one knows where the enemy is now. The real threat comes from the turbulent sea. At this time, a heavy voice sounded, and Dugushenlu came over, holding a long sword full of rust in his hand. What? Holy Lord Yuan Yang and others were surprised. Turbulent sea? This is the only explanation. There must be something in the outside world that threatens the survival of Xiantian realm. Since someone from the immortal realm is not crossing the border, it can only mean that there is something approaching us in the turbulent sea of void. Boundary. Dugushenlu said, we should cross the boundary wall now and have a look. Holy Lord Yuan Yang nodded immediately and said, I agree, let's go. Everyone nodded. This was indeed the only explanation. Brother Ling Chao, please go to the fire country immediately and find the goddess Ling and the goddess Jianning. Such a big thing has happened, and we, the little immortals, may not be able to handle it, so we have to ask Senior Li to take action. Dugushenlu spoke at the same time. Good. The Holy Lord Ling Chao turned around and turned into fairy light, heading straight for the Fire Kingdom. Dugushenlu and others arrived at the boundary wall in an instant. The white fog was misty, but it was spreading chaotically at this moment, as if it felt some kind of terrorist threat. Walk. Dugushenlu held the rusty sword and took a step forward. Others followed immediately. The next moment, they had appeared outside the boundary wall, standing in the vast turbulence of the void. Just after they came out, several people felt heavy in their hearts, because the sense of threat and panic was getting stronger. No. Then, what is that? What is that? Holy Master Kongming was shocked and pointed forward. In fact, without him having to say it, others had already seen it. Because that scene is so spectacular. It was a boundless terrifying whirlpool, bringing up thousands of void turbulences, enough to destroy everything. The whirlpool is moving towards Xiantian realm. Moreover, it is very fast. Visible to the naked eye, some dead continents floating in the void exploded and turned into countless dust the moment they were swept by the terrifying vortex. As the terrifying vortex approaches, the surrounding void turbulence is almost boiling. God, what is going on? What is that? Holy Lord Sahang murmured, his beautiful eyes filled with horror. Some kind of vortex of turbulent voids can destroy everything. It can destroy everything. The Xiantian realm is about to end. Holy Lord Yuanyang's face changed horribly. Is this a world-destroying storm, let alone the little immortals? Even if the mysterious immortals and heavenly immortals come, what will happen? They will all die. Saint Master Kongming's eyes were filled with despair. Dugu Shenlu's heart was trembling, and his eyelids kept beating. He understood that this whirlpool was extremely terrifying and unstoppable. Let's go back to Xiantian realm. He shouted. Everyone hurriedly crossed the boundary wall and returned to Xiantian realm. Because of the approach of the terrifying whirlpool, Xiantian realm has begun to tremble all over. Countless people are wailing and screaming. They returned directly to the southern territory. Go see Senior Li. He is the only hope. Dugu Shenlu spoke directly, and everyone headed directly towards the Kangli mountain range. And at this moment, Kangli Mountains, small mountain village. In the small courtyard. What happened? The sky and the earth are flickering, and there's such a terrifying atmosphere. Is the world about to be destroyed? No one in Tianyu comes from across the border. What's going on? All the disciples stopped what they were doing at this moment, and were shocked and confused. There was a look of horror on his face. The Xiantian realm has already felt the terror on its own, so this fear will immediately be transmitted to the hearts of every living being in this realm. Li Fan was teaching Xuanhuan to recite poetry, and he was also frowning at this moment. How is this going? Last time, it could be said that the weather was too weird, but this time, it was a big change. Even a mortal like myself can feel it. Xinning's expression changed, and she glanced at Gongya, who was waiting for Li Fan to drink tea next to her. Gongya's beautiful face is also full of surprise. Is Senior Li here? At this time, Mu Jianning's anxious voice sounded outside the door. Please come in. Li Fan spoke. Huo Ling Mu Jianning and Holy Master Ling Chao pushed open the door and walked straight towards Li Fan. When they saw Gongya, everyone was a little surprised. When did Senior Li have such a beautiful woman next to him? Who is she? However, they did not have time to ask more questions. Mu Jianning said directly. Senior Li, it's not good. Xiantian realm seems to be facing a great disaster. I heard some seniors speculate that there might be something terrifying in the turbulent sea of void, that wants to destroy the Xiantian realm. Mu Jianning spoke nervously. Hearing this, Long Zixuan, Dugu Yuking and others were all shocked. The void and the turbulent sea? They didn't know what it was, but they understood the current situation. Is there any terrifying existence that wants to destroy Xiantian realm? Even Gongya was muttering at this moment, void storm, turbulent whirlpool. Each of them is difficult to deal with. She is a generation of demon commander who has seen countless lower realms and was destroyed when encountering the void whirlpool or turbulent currents. But, it's hard to come across. Why does Xiantian realm appear? She was confused, looked at Xuanhuan, and said through a message, Demon Lord, should I go out and take a look? But Xuanhuan shook her head and said, Brother Li is here, We will just wait. She is still full of confidence in Li Fan at this moment. But Li Fan was shocked. Damn. Destroy Xiantian realm. Is this true or false? No way, isn't it possible that my little life is going to end like this? I don't want to die yet. Li Fan was also a little weak at the moment, but he still kept calm and said, don't panic, be patient, everything may not be possible. Zhuge Shenlu asks to see Senior Li. At this time, there was another shout outside. Zhuge Shenlu and others arrived. The situation was too urgent for them to care about anything. Father. When Zhuge Yuqing heard the voice, she was immediately happy. Your father? Then invite them in. Li Fan spoke. Zhuge Yuqing hurriedly stepped forward to open the door, and immediately after, Zhuge Shenlu, Holy Master Kongming, Holy Master Yuan Yang, etc. also walked in. Hosting. Qing Chen also looked at Holy Master Kongming. When Master Kongming saw Qing Chen, he couldn't help but be startled for a moment. This, King Chen's aura was actually so otherworldly. Stronger than myself, almost reaching the realm of Xianxian? Holy Master Kongming was shocked on the spot. Qing Chen still holds a broom in his hand. Could it be that just by sweeping the floor in this small courtyard, he can sweep the floor to the level of Xianxian? Saint Master Kongming's mentality is simply complicated. However, this thought only passed by for a moment. There are more important things now. Senior Li, something bad is going on. We went out to take a look and found that there was a terrifying whirlpool coming in the turbulent sea of void. I am afraid that it is, the Xiantian realm, and no one can stop it. Zhuge Shenlu bowed deeply to Li Fan. They all looked at Li Fan. Everyone looked at Li Fan. They have all realized that this matter is really serious, too serious. Moreover, it seems that the world-destroying existence is constantly approaching the Xiantian realm, and the feeling of terror, depression, and despair in everyone's hearts continues to intensify. Li Fan suddenly felt confused. Damn it, the world is destroyed, what can I do? Li Fan wanted to say, I'm not even a cultivator. However, he also saw that this group of people, old and young, were all panicked. No, damn it, even if you die, you must die in style. After all, two beautiful disciples, Ziling and Nanfang, were watching. The newly acquired beautiful maid was also watching. Under the gaze of so many people, Li Fan instead had the noble idea of dying. He waved his hand and said, Gongya, pour some tea. Gongya was stunned for a moment, shocked. How could this existence remain so casual at this time? You must know that although the void vortex cannot kill the owner of the restricted area, it will definitely cause a lot of trouble. Everyone in the field couldn't help but admire him deeply. As expected of an otherworldly existence, Senior Li can still be so calm at this time. Holy Lord Yuan Yang is deeply impressed. This being is so calm and calm. It seems that the Xiantian realm is safe. Zhuge Shenlu was a little shocked. When all the disciples saw Li Fan's composure, they all suddenly calmed down. Gongya nervously poured tea for Li Fan. Li Fan took it and took a sip, but found that the tea was cold. He was also a little uneasy in his heart, and was frightened by everyone's gaze. He immediately picked up the tea, walked to the peach tree, and poured the cool tea on the newly planted saplings. Everyone's eyes followed Li Fan, and when they saw the sapling, everyone was stunned instantly. They stared intently. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 100. Seeing the sapling, everyone was shocked for a moment. What kind of tree is that? Why does it make me want to worship it? Holy Master Kongming spoke in shock. there is actually a sense of resonance between the spiritual power in my body and this tree. Is this the origin of the Xiantian realm? Holy Lord Yuanyang was also very surprised. At this moment, Dugu Shenlu took a breath of air and said, this is the world tree. World tree. As soon as these words came out, Holy Lord Yuanyang and others were extremely shocked. What? The world tree is actually here. In the past, the world tree seemed to be hunted by something. It fled to the southern territory, and an unknown existence came to help. Now it seems that it was actually Senior Li who saved it. Moreover, Senior Li also planted the world tree. Isn't it said that the world tree is a treasure of heaven and earth, and there is no soil in the world to support it? If you leave the Xuanhuan Mist Sea, you will die. Here, you survived. For a moment, Holy Lord Sahang, Holy Master Kongming and others were simply shocked. The world tree is the foundation of a world, and it is of great importance. Moreover, the world tree lives and dies together with the world. It has never been heard of in the world that the world tree can be cultivated by people. It's so scary. What kind of heaven-defying existence is Senior Li? He can even plant the world tree. I can't imagine that we are not even qualified to look up to Senior Li's realm. They were all shocked. Moreover, the moment Li Fan poured a cup of tea, the sapling that had long been full of life suddenly sprouted a young leaf. Seeing this, everyone was stunned and unbelievable. Can a cup of tea make the world tree glow with such vitality? Isn't this too outrageous? At this moment, everyone clearly felt that the world tree was full of an mysterious Tao charm, which was the rule of the movement of heaven and earth, and the wonderful principle of the evolution of the world. That is this moment. In the entire Xiantian realm, in countless spaces, countless chains of order suddenly appeared, divine light shined, and golden runes were like flowing water, covering the heavens. In the entire sky of Xiantian realm, a terrifying tree shadow suddenly appeared at this moment. All golden chains come from its branches. The shadow of this terrifying tree opens up the sky of the entire Xiantian realm. It can be seen in the western desert, Zhongzhou, eastern wasteland, southern territory, etc. It is supreme and unique. The chain of order emits thousands of feet of light, now extending beyond the boundary wall. At this moment, the white mist has disappeared, and the boundary wall is as clear as a thin piece of crystal. Countless creatures and cultivators in the Xiantian realm can easily see the scene outside the boundary wall in the entire turbulent ocean of void. A terrifying storm vortex, seemingly carrying the power of destruction, swept in from the turbulent ocean of void. Countless pieces of floating wasteland were turned into fly ash and ceased to exist with just one sweep. The vortex of destruction. For a time, all sentient beings were shocked. Oh my God, what is that thing? Is it coming towards our Xiantian realm? The big storm generated in the void turbulent ocean will be torn apart, let alone the Xuanzi world, even the earthly word world, and no living thing can survive. It's over. This time, our Xiantian realm is really over. The world is panicked. But at this moment, in the sky of Xiantian realm, the terrifying tree shadows and countless branches were shining with golden light, but they were leaning towards the great whirlpool in the void. The world-destroying vortex has now stretched for billions of miles, sweeping through countless spaces, and is as vast as an endless black hole. The golden branches looked like insignificant light in comparison. Countless golden chains of order traveled through time and space and touched the edge of the terrifying vortex. However, that terrifying storm did not stop at all because of the golden chain of order. At this moment, the world-destroying vortex is only 1,000 miles away from Xiantian realm. That terrifying, trembling aura of destruction was transmitted. Countless crystal-like walls were shattered at this moment. The raging turbulence in the void ocean was like a river bursting its banks, rushing wildly into the Xiantian realm. The world-destroying vortex has not yet arrived, but just these turbulent voids that seep in are enough to destroy a world. A ripple in the void ocean falls on the head of the lower realm, which is an unbearable horrific disaster. The terrifying golden tree shadow burst out with endless light again at this moment. Its golden chain of order did not extend outwards, but instead weaved large golden nets to block the turbulent flow of the void from entering the Xiantian realm. It can only defend, although this kind of defense means sitting still and waiting for death. The void vortex was approaching in an instant, leaving only 100 miles away. All the creatures in the entire Xiantian realm have their hearts in their throats at this moment. The whole world seemed to be dead. The powerful murderer trembled, crawled, and looked outside the territory. The secluded old man lay down in the coffin with despair in his eyes. Sweet lovers hug each other tightly and want to die together. Hey, the world tree in the Xiantian realm has grown terribly in a short period of time, but it is still nothing compared to this world-destroying whirlpool. No one can stop it. This is the fate of Xiantian realm. Wait to die. Countless cultivators lamented. In the small courtyard. When the golden tree shadow appeared in Tianyu, Holy Master Kongming and others were all shocked. Because they felt that the world tree was far more powerful than when the 10 mysterious immortals came across the border. However, the resistance of the world tree is not worth mentioning in front of the boundless whirlpool of world destruction, even when the boundary wall is shattered. Everyone looked miserable. How to resist this? It's so difficult, so frustrating. Li Fan, however, was looking at the tender green leaves on the sapling. This tree is alive. Li Fan also smiled and said, Lu Rang, come here, I will teach you another method of cultivation. Li Fan has resigned himself to fate. Anyway, if this world is really going to be destroyed, as a mortal, he can't do anything. His character is to not look for trouble. If that's the case, then do whatever you have to do. Every minute of time has its own meaning. At this moment, a tree that is about to regain its vitality is the meaning of this moment. Li Fan doesn't like to waste good time. Lu Rang stepped forward in a daze. The dead tree is reborn and new leaves emerge. At this time, the dead tree has accumulated a certain amount of strength. However, if you want the tree to truly survive and grow more vigorously, you need to strike while the iron is hot. Li Fan said, go and get water. When Lu Rang heard this, he hurriedly went to the well to get a basin of water. Water in time and then cover with mature soil. Li Fan poured the water down, picked up the hoe, turned up the soil, and covered it with the soil at the roots of the tree. If the prediction goes well, the roots of the tree will be replenished and the young leaves will grow rapidly. He caressed the young leaves. Sure enough, as soon as he finished speaking, the new green leaves spread out instantly. That's this moment. In the sky of Xiantian realm, on the terrifying golden tree shadow, a piece of green leaf suddenly glowed with endless light. The branch with leaves actually poked out of the boundary wall at this moment. The green leaves fell immediately, floating towards the terrifying whirlpool of world destruction. The world-destroying vortex sweeps through countless wastelands, envelopes endless voids, and can destroy all realms. A leaf full of vitality falls towards it, just like a grain of dust on the roadside, insignificant. But, when the leaf floated into the sky above the terrifying whirlpool, suddenly, the leaves stretched and expanded in an instant, the veins stretched for hundreds of millions of miles, and the greenery fell and the sky was filled with stars. That leaf actually became boundless, covering the entire world-destroying vortex. Boom! At this moment, terrifying fluctuations spread in the void ocean. The world-destroying vortex violently rioted, and countless stars and wastelands exploded around it. It was like a turbulent wave, and all living beings in the universe trembled. But the leaf, however light and casual, eventually fell. The terrifying world-destroying vortex disappeared as the leaves fell. In an instant, the sea of void suddenly calmed down. The world-destroying vortex has disappeared. At this moment, the whole world was silent. In the vast turbulent sea of emptiness, there is only one green leaf, so green. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 101. All the creatures in Xiantian realm are stunned at this moment. Petrified. The whole world was petrified. Everyone was staring blankly at the scene outside Xiantian realm, in the turbulent ocean of void, with their eyes dumbfounded. God, what is that? Are those leaves growing on the world tree? How can it have such terrifying power? A leaf suppressed a world-destroying storm? How is this possible? Didn't I lose my sight? Or is everything that happened today just an illusion? In the Xiantian realm, countless cultivators simply couldn't believe it at this moment. However, more people, at this moment, were all worshipping the tree shadows in the sky that day. The world tree protects us. Yes, that leaf belongs to the world tree. Oh my God, the world tree in our Xiantian realm is so magical. It can even withstand such a world-destroying storm. The people of the world knelt down and worshipped, extremely pious. And in the small courtyard, Master Yuan Yang, Holy Master Sahang, Zhuge Shenlu and other masters are all dead at this moment. They stared blankly at the scene in front of them. It was like seeing something incredible. Senior Li used his hand at will to make the world tree emit extremely terrifying power. Holy Master Kongming murmured. What kind of world-destroying storm, in the eyes of a terrifying existence like Senior Li, it is nothing at all. It is not even worth a second look. Zhuge Shenlu's expression was complicated. At this moment, he admired Li Fan beyond measure. All Li Fan's disciples were extremely surprised. This tree can actually exude such great power. Master is too scary, too scary. Lu Rang looked at Li Fan and was so excited that his whole body was shaking. What is the way of farming? This is the real way of farming. In the eyes of the world, this is just a small skill, but in the hands of Senior Li, it can turn decay into magic. Any tree can show transcendent power. I have found a new path. By farming, I can also cultivate the invincible way, and the killing technique that makes the stars in the sky tremble. He clenched his fists. But Gong Ya, at this moment, subconsciously took 2 steps back, her beautiful eyes filled with shock, and her towering chest rising and falling. She looked at Li Fan, her beautiful eyes filled with awe. You must know that even De Luo Jingxian is almost helpless in the face of such a terrifying whirlpool of world destruction. Even if she is allowed to go forward to deal with it, I am afraid that even if she tries her best, her vitality will be severely damaged. However, this being just watered the world tree and it was done. What does it mean to turn your hands to make clouds and turn your hands to make rain? This is it. Her expression was complicated. Is this the supreme power of the Lord of the Forbidden Zone? Xian Ning's big eyes were shining even more at this moment. One leaf can conquer the world. I just saw clearly that the moment he caressed the green leaf, a great opportunity for the world tree was achieved. This world tree will probably grow to the point where even immortals will tremble. She murmured, her heart becoming more determined. In this life, I will hold on to Li Fan's thigh until I die. Li Fan, as for Li Fan, turned around and saw the shocked expressions of everyone, and felt a little proud in his heart. Back when he was growing various things, he had practiced hard under the brilliance of the system. One flower, one world, one leaf, one Bodhi. Li Fan smiled and said, life is impermanent, but the beauty of every moment is eternal. When you are uneasy, if you can look at the small beauty around you, you may be able to see another world. These people were so scared just now. He was also warning them that people should not think too much and do whatever they should do. Anyway, the world is destroyed and I can't do anything, so why worry about it? However, after listening to his words, everyone present fell into deep thought. Senior Li's words are like the sound of a great moral code, containing the most truth. Holy Master Kongming murmured. There is one flower and one world, one leaf, and one bodhisattva. For people like Senior Li, the world-destroying whirlpool is no different from the dust on the roadside. Dugu Shenlu sighed. What a profound realm, what a profound realm, is this the style of the Lord of the Forbidden Zone? Gongya murmured, and at this moment, she looked at Li Fan with a hint of deep admiration. One flower and one world, one leaf, and one bodhisattva, all tiny things have their eternal beauty. Next to him, Qing Chen, who was meditating with his eyes closed, his breath changed even more in a daze. Everyone looked back at him in surprise. Is this a breakthrough? Xianxian realm. Senior Li can create an invincible world tree with just a few words. With just a few words, he can enlighten the mysterious immortals. What a great opportunity. Everyone admired and admired him. Qing Chen also opened his eyes were so clear. He looked at Li Fan, suddenly bowed deeply and said, "Thank you, Master, for preaching." But he was sighing in his heart, the real giant Buddha really embodies the supreme Zen principles in every word and deed. Without these few words from Li Fan, I'm afraid he would still have to go a long way to enter the realm of the mysterious immortal. Everyone looked even more complicated. Now, the feeling of depression and panic disappeared completely with the elimination of the world-destroying vortex, and they all returned to normal. Li Fan took a look at the outside world. The sky was clear and the sun was shining, which was very nice. Another weird weather. Li Fan smiled and said, "Come on, Gongya, let's exchange a pot of tea for everyone." He was quite happy. Hearing this, Gongya nodded hurriedly and said, "It's, Senior." She went to make tea, and not long after, she came back with tea. "Tea, please." She served tea to Dugu, Shenlu and others one by one. Dugu Shenlu seemed to feel something, and suddenly looked at Gongya with some horror and dullness, and said, "Senior Li's new maid? This is obviously a powerful and terrifying figure." Others also looked anxious for a moment. Is it natural to allow a being of this level to serve them tea? "Master, can I learn more about planting trees today?" At this time, Lu Rang spoke even more eagerly. Li Fan smiled and said, "Okay, let's start with this small sapling. When you can plant this small sapling as lush as this peach tree, then you can start teaching." Hearing this, everyone couldn't help but look at the peach tree. God, I used to think that this was just a flat peach tree, its function was to produce spiritual fruits, but now I discovered that it seems that every leaf of this peach tree is more terrifying than the ones on the world tree. Holy Lord Yuan Yang was suddenly shocked. He had seen the peach tree before, but he didn't pay much attention to it at first. Now, when a leaf of the world tree showed such a terrifying aura, he suddenly realized. Everyone was also shocked instantly. If that world tree grows a single leaf, it is invincible. So what kind of existence is this extremely lush peach tree with millions of leaves? They were simply dumbfounded. And at this moment, the moment when the green leaves of the world tree suppress the vortex of destruction, with a radius of hundreds of millions of miles, hundreds of worlds trembled in the void ocean. In the earth spirit world, in the helm, suddenly a group of powerful cultivators all had their faces changed drastically.